I think me nilichoka na kusoma. I think it's I know it's a bit controversial, but the concept of
Formal education.
formal education, yes. Concept of formal education, to me, I find it a bit absurd.
Was that ile time ya graduation wa kugraduate?
Me ni kama Bill Gates and
Dropping out is essential.
it is essential for success. Sorry, don't take my words
But except
literally.
for us, wajua sisi tulipata the right process. We mean to advise watu wafuate the right process though.
Not necessarily.
You know why? Because you have to be ferociously intelligent for you to succeed. You know, nilikuwa na utoto lakini ilipokuwa mdogo.
No, so Robert was a model. Just because he was a model.
No, like so,
Anyway,
over time hiyo like focus kujaribu kuangalia, do you want to be investor focused or customer focused? Those are two different companies.
And I can see how this ukumbele
Ndio ikaanza kushape because now with investor focus we were so confident because Ben Roberts alikuwa into that story ya gaming. Kulikuwa na hiyo platform ilikuwa run by
at that time I think I don't want to toot our own horn, but we are very, very, very few people, not just Kenya, but Africa-wise, people who could actually develop games.
Yeah.
When we were doing the businesses screeners, na tulikuwa tunakaa ndani ya nyumba sana. We were building products for ourselves.
The pushing.
Yes. Hatukuwa enda nje. Imagine we were creating products tu tukiwa ndani ya nyumba. Alafu sisi ndo tunaziangalia, hakucommunicate na mtu.
We were the QA, we were the customer, we were the producer, we were the programmer, we were everything. That basically, that's the first lesson about customer centrism, where when you're building a product, who are you building it for?
Haya, karibuni guys to the Founders Forum podcast.
Yes. Kitu kipya hicho. Yeah.
So mimi, for those listening, you shall just refer to me as producer, and I'll be the one who will be probing our premier founders hapa, yeah? So I think just before we start, maybe kuna wenye wanawajua, kuna wenye hawajui. Maybe just introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Starting na wewe bro, on the left.
Mimi?
On the
Robert.
Yes,
my
on
left.
the producer's left. So my name is Robert Mwaluga, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pickup Mtaani. Yes, simple.
Yeah. My name is Okia, co-founder of Pickup Mtaani, and we are the ones who serve you on a daily basis. So glad to be here.
So the podcast ilikuwa, it's something we've always wanted to do before. And the reason for that is for some reason people believe Pickup Mtaani has become like an innovation to our country. And we usually get these random DMs, especially for starting entrepreneurs who kind of reach out for advice, maybe for inspiration. And, we can't communicate to all of them. I can't personalize that. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, the questions that do come, they usually come in terms of, I want to start a shoe business. What can I do? But then I'm not an expert of selling shoes. Mm-hmm. So, but then we've gathered a bit of experience over the years. And we are curious, especially when it comes to building sustainable businesses. Mm-hmm. So we decided then to kind of make it then public for people to kind of
occupy space, kind of.
Yes.
And they just could discuss.
Yeah,
whatever.
but because I feel kuna some fundamental truths about businesses. Now ukiangalia to most businesses kuna hizo qualities. For example, resilience ni kitu ambayo ni important kwa biashara. But then we can only share that through what to my experience, but also what to my research on, because we read a lot about many startups. Yeah. So ideally with that, we thought this could be an avenue of us maybe trying to share what we've learned, but also our interests in in the fields of entrepreneurship and seeing how we can be able to communicate this to other people who are trying to start up as well. But maybe that's my opinion. I don't know about Okia.
I think personally it's just to echo kitu umesema. Why a podcast? I think a podcast is just generally ingia into the mind of somebody who's tried to do something, whatever it is. And as Robert amesema, getting these questions from time to time, whether physically or somebody sending you a DM, which whatever way somebody andaka could reach out, we feel okay. For example, sorry to digress. When you want to start a new business and let's say like, let me research what to do. The only information we have is the one that tumetoa shule on a large part nile ambao tumetoa shule me going on YouTube, me going on Facebook, Instagram, not to say that hakuna hizo stories, but we believe it's high time that if you've done just hata kama ni kidogo hivi, then tell your story. Just share it, because other societies, other industries, other countries have these stories where they can look up to. So if the one that people know a lot ni about USS, ndio. So Apple
China.
When you're Trump anasema and China. Anyway, with USA, for example, ukiangalia HP was there way before. Kina Apple and Microsoft, IBM, the same thing. So people had a reference where they can go check. General Electric was there way before the guys ambao we know for today. Even look at Amazon in itself, look at Facebook in itself. People used to look up to different people. So those stories have been told. So you can go on YouTube and look at an interview Bezos did 30 years ago. But you can't see a video where, let's say, founder wa Keroche did 30 years ago. You can't find it. I want to learn from Keroche how they did their business, but how am I going to do that? So I think why a podcast, there has to be, we have to do 101 podcasts. There have to be 101 founders who are doing actually the same thing that we want to do. They are there, but those voices need to be heard. The next people who are actually trying to do business. And kuna a lot of people who are successful in business. Success means different things to different people, but kuna watu wengi ambao wako successful in business, and why we keep that information should change.
Pickup Mtaani is a delivery service that serves online sellers and customers. Simple as that. And we do that by offering different services, but ideally, if you can simplify it, it's a delivery service catered for online sellers.
Super. So now let's kind of now go towards your journey. The first thing, of course, ni kutaka kujua like who are you before Pickup Mtaani, before you met Okia, and similarly to Okia, like what were your journeys like?
At that time.
Ulisomea wapi? Ulikuwa unafanya nini before sasa mpatane?
So actually an interesting thing ni kuwa nimemjua Okia since 206.
How many years?
Yes.
So hiyo ni 206
18
minus 25.
So 19.
19. So mtoto ambao alizaliwa when we were meeting, sata ni what they call them? Gen Z.
Actually, yeah. So
hata alikuwa kwa maandamano. That guy.
206 and we met at our high school. So sisi ni watu wa Mombasa. Tulikuwa Aldina, but yeye alikuja second selection.
No.
Ndio. Kwa sababu tulikuwa
nilipata, what was the school?
alipata hizi shule za kwenda bara I think.
Iza Ocha.
So
Na iko national school. So
na alikuwa index 1 I think hiyo Sacred Heart. Yeah.
Mimi nilikuwa nimepata hizo marks
Hizo
za
marks za
government.
400
Hizo za
and
government. Hizo. Nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So niliingia second selection
ile tu inakuja baadaye. So but see mimi nilikuwa first selection. Sisi ni wale tulifit kuingia district school tu. 378 actually.
378
I think
around 390.
Ilikuwa 380.
380 ndio
Vincent Akane ndo alikuwa number 1. I have a thing about remembering things. So hapo
ningesema watu inamfanya akumbuke lakini tricky. Bele sana.
So after that I think but we started becoming close in hapo to 2009 because we were in the same class ya history.
2009 ndo tulimaliza shule.
Lakini soona sasa history ndo ilitufanya
wapi? Ukumbuki ukikuja kwa daro yetu
ya North. Ndio.
Ilikuwa tukiwa form 2.
Ni form 2 kweli.
Ilikuwa form 2 ile time kwa watu wanapiga tu story. You're just coming kukaa pale backbench.
Nilikuwa natoka class yetu. Mimi nilikuwa for West, wewe alikuwa North. So we finished that tukamaliza KCSE lakini hapo nilimuosha. KCSE.
Mimi niliacha kusoma by the way.
Because I remember hata tulitoka paper ya math tulikuwa mimi yeye Tito Brian Wanjama na Julius. We discussed swali moja ya math. Hakuna mtu alikuwa everyone jibu lake lilikuwa different. That's how bad we were.
Okay. I think nilichoka na kusoma. I think I know it's a bit controversial, but the concept of
formal education.
Formal education, yes. Concept of formal education, to me, I find it a bit absurd where, and it came to me, we'll discuss it later on probably in campus, but around form 2 from second term. Unajua nasema second semester I'm used to campus. Second term where based on whatever probably was going on at home, nini pia uko like I started losing interest. And I was like anyway, information, it's easy to know. It's just reading. It's just cramming. There's nothing interesting here. It's just cramming. So I think interest yangu ikaanza kupotea kidogo hapo, and then probably I don't think nishawai regain my interest in formal education ever since that time.
You learn from the streets.
But you know, sasa with that, mi naangalia kind of it's necessary because of ile element ya kuwa na backup plan. And that's
mzazi.
I ban the ships. I ban the ships.
Lazima uwe na backup.
You know the theory where that soldier alisema they went to war and they burnt all the ships. But that
lakini unaona kwa nini nasema hivyo? Okay, ukiangalia basi let us go na hiyo rhetoric yako. If singepata grade ya kuja KU, ningebaki Mombasa. Na Mombasa venye kunakaa. Na mimi singepewa opportunity ya
Mombasa. Hakuna kaje.
Mombasa vibaya yani. Okay, Mombasa is a bit
Mombasa bana mbona
no, yani
Mombasa is good.
I feel kuna opportunities less.
Beach. There's a beach nini. Mombasa is good.
Iko opportunities are way less compared to Nairobi. Na to me pia hiyo time my sister alikuwa amepaint a big picture about, to me Nairobi was New York. I tell
them she
fedha lakini nilijua because of KU bado.
Alisoma KU.
Alisoma bado KU. So I had to pass because kwetu tulikuwa tumeambiwa lazima ukitaka kwenda campus lazima uende job. Hakuna kitu ya para, hakuna. That is not the question. Na me by there I remember I started to just get a grade ya kuingia chuo. Hata kama ilikuwa ni bora, hata kama ningeitwa kufanywa education, I would have gone.
A course that does not exist anymore. Just so you know. I exist anymore. Ilitolewa from the campus.
So let me get, so by around form 2 ndo mlikuwa mabeste sasa.
Anza kwa mabeste.
Then mkimaliza chuo mlikuwa already like friends.
So but then they moved out. they came to Umoja.
Nairobi.
Nairobi, yeah,
Okay, so
basically, yes. As a family.
That's after high school.
Yes,
so after high
immediately.
school.
Actually, immediately 2009.
Okay.
So nikabaki Mombasa mimi. But then we were 3 people.
Yeah.
We were 3 people.
And
Our story, by the way, we've tried entrepreneurship hata na ilikuwa funny enough, our entrepreneurship has been based on our friendship. It's interesting, yani watu wanasema by the way ufai kufanya. Yes, friendship came first.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship came later. Na I guess ni ile element ambayo we had the same values, we wanted big dreams, we wanted to achieve.
Poverty is the enemy.
Yes. Yeah.
Escape poverty by all means.
Yes.
Nice. So post high school, I guess you managed to enter KU.
Yes.
Na
KU.
unaokia sasa wewe.
Mi nilikuwa job, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Si ati just because I hate formal education does not mean that I did not pay attention. Nilitoa ilikuwa shule gani? Kisii University. Yeah, Kisii University to go and do. I wish I went, but hindsight, everything happens for a reason. But I wish I went because nilitoa tourism and hotel management. I wish I did that 100% because I believe that would have given me practical skills. Nilisomea business, become finance. I won't talk bad about KU, but
so you both ended up in KU now.
Hata we started living together first year, second self. Literally, yes, that was in 2011.
Inamaanisha did like your parents know each other ama nyinyi mnapatana YouTube?
They know we exist, but hawajai meet physically.
Because hatujai kuwa in the same. Because hata ile time ya graduation wa kugraduate.
Me ni kama Bill Gates and
dropping out is essential.
It is essential for success. Sorry, don't take my words.
But
literally.
Except for us, wajua sisi tulifuata the right process. We mean to advise watu wafuate the right process though.
Not necessarily.
You know why? Because you have to be ferociously intelligent for you to succeed. You know, and you get what one exists. I think he is. No matter we've been able to be together.
Yes.
Waona. But you see, that's a unique value. You have to. So that your intelligence ni muhimu sana if you really uko na your confidence ya ku drop out. Lakini I believe yani kuenda the right way.
What's the right way?
The right way ni ile tu kufuata stages. Yani tu kufuata stages.
So that's the right way. Because the majority say that's the right way.
That's the right way.
No. Because yani
wewe mwenyewe sawa, you study course that does not exist.
Yes.
So you want to tell me that is the right way.
Which course did you study in uni? After which course? Will you study course guy?
Community resource management.
No. Tafadhali, let's not laugh. It's a really
it's okay.
It's important because, by the way, yani, if you look at it from the perspective okay, I'll reference a lot of people during this episode. Ni Jay-Z alisema knowledge is knowledge.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where it comes from. And as much as yes, we'll try and probably make jokes about causes that don't exist, causes that I did not graduate and all that. It doesn't take away from the fact that as Robert anasema, yes, a formal education is important because a formal education, one, not everybody, and that is true, not everybody probably might have the tenacity or the zeal to know that what I do matters. Or as Robert anapenda kusema kwa Kiswahili, naweza jikwamua mwenyewe. Not everybody will go through that.
Yes.
And a formal education to a large extent does help you get to a certain level. So let's not lack of a better word dismiss formal education. It works 50% more.
You are better odds in this
you are better off having a formal education than not.
For sure. For sure.
So just because
this course doesn't exist.
It's because it doesn't exist, and I didn't graduate does not mean a formal, because huwezi taka kuna daktari ambao haja graduate or hajasomea or an engineer who is building roads. Even if Elon Musk says you don't need a degree to build roads, because there's a place alisema you can learn all these things. But anyway, to digress so much, it's a formal education is important. Let's not takeaway that's
Definitely.
important.
So ulisoma community
resource management. Ni kama ukisimplify ni community development. What people say community development. They just, I don't know why they gave it
Wamepea
another
big
name.
words.
You wanted many causes,
Yes.
so they had
Na wewe
to
ukia ulisoma nini?
become finance major. So kitu ambayo nilifanya nisi graduate ni I think missing marks. So I went to do them. Some nilifanya, but then again, the one that probably let me not say kasirisha, but one that probably made me rethink the value of that certificate was that. So when everybody knows ukiwa campus, see there is cut marks that usually account for 30%, and then there is the exam mark that usually account for probably around 70%. So I had the exam mark that was more than 40. The pass mark was 40%. So I had the exam mark that had more than 40%, but I didn't have the cut marks. So to me, it didn't make any sense. Why? If my exam mark imepitisha the 40%, why do they need the cut marks? Why is it a must? Because the rules say pass mark ni 40%, and my exam marks,
the rules also say you have to do 2 cuts.
No,
the rules zinasema passing ni 40%. Then basi isikue passing mark ni 40%.
See, as
it
much
is,
as
but with the caveat of you have to both still do
you
the
have to do
cuts.
both.
Yes.
Basi, so you see, with that, to me niko like
That makes sense.
no, si tundu, because this is a university where reason takes precedence, right? Because kama uko in a university, I believe we have to reason. When a lecturer, you are telling me pass mark ni 40%. Then again, you're telling me caveat, I have to have done the cut mark. Then basi remove the anyway.
Tunaona bado uko na some.
Anyway, so I was like, no, I'm not going back.
You just moved on.
I was like, no, I'm not going back. I didn't know what that meant, to be honest. But that literally meant for me that it's not wasted the 4 years or 5 years that we've done. It's just that I had to get a different way of thinking, where if people put value in a paper, where over time we've seen it at the organization at Pickup Mtaani, where somebody will come and tell you, oh, mimi nimefanya hivi, and then you put them to the ground, and then you're like, come on, aziambatani. Or somebody tells you, niko na experience, nimefanya hivi, but then again, when you put them to task, you see something different. So I didn't know back then. To me, I think it's just probably courage, where uko like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm already here, so what's the worst that can happen? And am I going to die? No, obviously not. But what's the worst that can happen? Anyway, before that graduation, we'd actually tried different businesses. So we had actually seen what can work. We didn't literally know what can work or what cannot work, but we'd actually, Robert will talk about, and we'll also talk about it, but we'd actually seen where if you put in maybe effort into a certain thing, that can happen. What can happen, rather. Or rather, Pia, you are young, you are green, you don't know anything. So the world for you, it's a canvas. You can only paint whatever you want to paint. So mi nilisema, F it. So whatever happens. Kaende.
So I guess the reason for us starting businesses at that time was element of survival. Again,
it's always that. Anyway.
Ilikuwa for a while.
For us,
I would say for us ilikuwa hivyo, for survival. Because for example, mi nikiwa hiyo time kwa napewa 4,000 per month. Waona, naishi nje. Waona, at that time pia, you being a young guy, you are also seeing people outside, you are having relationships. Also tu ile tu kujisustain at that time. So I think ilitufanya kujaribu different things. So tukafungua a writing account.
Online writing.
So tulienda kama job kwanza. Doni tuliandikwa na msee anaitwa Tom. So msee alikuwa anatuamsha lakini saa 9 the whole day umekaa.
Yeye ndo alikuwa anaona account sasa anawapea jobs.
Unakaa the whole day lakini saa 9 usiku ndo anakuamsha ati ndo uende
Kufanya
kuandika.
assignment ya watu wengine. Na tu wewe mwenyewe unataka kufanya
Na mimi
assignment ya shule yako.
mimi mwenyewe sipendi kufanya assignments.
So unafanya ya mtu mwingine.
So I remember nikaenda msee huyu alifutwa kazi immediately alafu
No, not immediately wewe.
kwanza alikuwa anakula chakula ya msee.
Not immediately. Acha kudanganya. Not immediately. It was probably like within a week's time.
So ndo I think nikaenda nikawaproposia msee kuna history account.
Wewe quit.
Mimi
After
quit.
that because akoleka misfanye peke yangu.
Because nilikuwa sasa solo. Wajua na nilikuwa sijui msee mwingine. And then nikaenda nikapropose kwake alafu na huyo best yetu watatu. Tutamweka anonymous for now. Lakini he was actually we feel he is very intelligent by the yani
Always has been.
By the whatever he did for us pia he did a lot waona. So but tukaenda nikapropose, we raised capital, tukanunua account ya Uvocop. Ilikuwa ni Uvocop hiyo time ndio ulikuwa unapata job za maana. So I believe hiyo time hata ulikuwa waweza pata 20 to 30k in a month. Hiyo time tulikuwa na at that time tulikuwa hata second year sasa literally
Second year no second sem.
hata ilikuwa first I think first time because after first year so it was 2012 ndo tukaanza. And then after that I believe yeye ndo ataongea more because I believe the idea came from them. But story they got interested into tech sana.
So during that
period bado
okay.
So I think tech ilianza kuwa romanticized that industry in itself.
That's the actual word.
Romanticized. So ilikuwa like kulikuwa na hiyo hype about tech.
So ni 20 what about ipe timeline ni
2013.
That was in 2013.
2013.
Yes.
Okay.
So get into tech. I think now based on the interests ali narrow down to gaming.
Okay.
Yes. So we started or rather they started a company called Screeners Studios.
So him and anonymous.
No, na huyo anonymous na mimi bado nikakuja. Mimi nilikuwa na 15%
No, okay.
Walinionea lakini
hatukukuonea. I think lack of I think it's ni netwaje. As I said before, when you are green and you don't know any better. And si kuonea, I think it was ile lack of a better way to explain it, or the correct word to use it was Robert was an enthusiast. Ona. Yeah, kujua mimi nitawa support.
Alikuwa risk averse ama alikuwa risk averse?
Not that. No. Okay. Not risk averse. Ni alikuwa I mean nitawa support.
like a cheerleader.
Yani for now I don't know my role, but for now I don't know my role specifically, but juazi
I'll apply myself.
Mimi niko do or die, I'm here. So you see, that's the point where alikuwa nasema everything that has been done has been based off friendship from the get-go. Ona. So like you see, I don't know hata mimi sijui hii world ni gani. Ona. But since you guys are my friends and I think you guys are on to something, I'll give my life for it. And he did, by the way. And he 100%. Ona. So sisi tuko like, because hata pia sisi we are green, hata tujui tuko like but they will give you 15%. Hata tujui what is
15.
hata hiyo ni nini. We don't know what it is. Tunasema tu figures. We're just saying figures. That does not mean his contribution, because later on his contribution was significantly more than mine. Mimi personally.
Okay.
Ona. Why do I say so? So 2013, it's the concept of venye nasema narrowing down to games was an interest of ours. So where I don't know how it came about. I don't have the recollection vizuri, but I just knew, probably my interest has always been developing, playing games. Okay. So what do I mean by playing games? When I was probably around yani nikiwa primary school, like I can't remember the exact year or age.
Yeah.
My uncle alileta cousin ya my dad alileta zile Terminator, the video games, the one that you would play and then ziko na
Like
gun,
the
you'd
gun, yeah,
shoot.
duck something.
Exactly, hiyo ya duck. Ona. So that is the first time I ever played a video game. Ona. So I told my dad to buy it for me. They never bought it for me. I don't know why. So my auntie ndo alinibaia. Ona. So that for the first time nili get interest in games, and how we were communicating at that time. It's funny that you'd go to a telephone booth na 25 bob zile ni hexagon whatever hizo whatever I don't know. So unaeka ile 5 bob kubwa, and then you chat for like probably 10 minutes, not 10 minutes, probably like 2 or 3 minutes, and then inakata. So expensive. I don't know why. So that time I was still living in Mombasa, around VOK, your area. So I didn't know if my interest in tech ilianza from hapo. I don't know. But I can only remember how
that now
I loved video games. And then the next person to give me interest in video games was my brother, our eldest. He's called Moses. So his friends had a game called Sega Mega Drive.
Sega.
Exactly. Remember that. So their football game was so advanced for its time that when you played the video game, ilikuwa inaitwa Terminator, you think Sega Mega Drive 2 is the best you've ever played. That's before PS1 ever came out. Then PS1 came out, and the rest is history. So fast forward to campus, and I'm actually trying to think what's my worth anyway. I hate formal education at this moment in time, and it's been on for years now. What do I like? I like games, and I like PS. Like playing games. So I don't know how I stumbled upon deciding like I want to make games, but there's one game in particular called Resident Evil 4, where I played it, and the whole family, by family I mean my siblings, were watching me play it. So we enjoyed that game so much, my brother and my other 2 young siblings, that I don't think there's any game that has ever trumped that in terms of our interest, Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
So fast forward to campus, I'm like, but then I would like to create game kama hii. I don't know how I came to it. I don't know how I came to it, but just that interest, because I'm looking for something meaningful. I'm lost in formal education. Like I'm doing something that I don't want to, but I'm already here. So let me make use of my time on. So we got into games.
So what was the actual business now that you wanted to come yenye mlimpia 15%? What was the business actually?
Yeah. So the name was Screen Arts.
Okay.
So screen, not screen as SCREEN, like the normal screen, but it was socially crowded. It's just a name that doesn't make sense, but socially crowded inside networks. I don't know what that means, but that's the name we came up with. So SCRIN arts. Screen arts, socially crowded, because we wanted the games to be people centric. We didn't even know what that means, but that's the vision. So for a time, I drove that vision in terms of the game that we wanted to do. So Robert
You
was
actually wanted to make a game.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We actually did.
We actually did. We actually
Reke
did.
Squad. Ilikuwa inaitwa Reke Squad.
Yeah, so that's what Robert is saying. Eventually,
okay.
The guy who, let's just name him. Tanyi.
Suspense. May build up.
Yeah, he's called Kevin Tanyi. He's our friend. He's still our friend. We just don't talk much nowadays. But his name was Tanyi. So and then later on we brought on Gunjiri.
Njire
Yeah.
and Ian Mukira.
Yeah. Mukira was short-lived.
Yes, very short-lived. Yes.
So you see the power of a dream. You see, these guys did not. It wasn't something for them, but just because inaitwaje, a seed was planted. You see, Robert is nowadays just about planting a seed of whatever we are doing. Why a podcast?
So,
It's a seed to probably inspire the next people. So just from my dream
and
belief, Robert came on board, Tanyi came on board, Mukira came on board, Gunjiri came on board. All of us have taken different paths. Tanyi has taken different paths, Mukira has taken different path, Gunjiri has taken different path. But see, that's what for a moment ilituleta pamoja. So what's the business? I'm on always 15%. So the business was we will create mobile games and desktop games. But the former took precedence over time because of resources and whatnot. So
because of the demography, how we are looking at we are seeing a lot of mobile games coming up. You know, as well. At that time, yes.
Mobile penetration, smartphones
zilikuwa zimetokea. So ideally, that's also it was decided with that in mind that we are targeting mobile devices, smartphone operators.
And so in this first business, it would be good to know, like, so
that's not the first. The first was ile
account.
Sorry. So in this
is the second, yes.
So in this second business.
So this is the one that we register business formally,
really?
kind
Yes,
of.
yes.
So you went through all the motions.
Yes.
So
na baba Ketani.
in this business now, what were, like, for example, you mentioned games, like I'm seeing coding, I'm seeing UI, like, so at this point, what were your skill sets, like, so what were
so and you see, that's where sometimes I think we say friendship takes precedence. So Robert wasn't into this, Robert. It's a welcome model.
So developing communities.
Nilikuwa na utoto lakini nilipokuwa mdogo.
No, so Robert was a model. That's because he was a model.
No, like
Anyway, so fast forward, it's I could get into graphics. So don't know, intersectional graphics ilitoka wapi?
Through screeners. See, even though najaribu
but how?
See, I just needed to show my value. Was okay. What was happening ni ile element ya ona ulikuwa unaweza kucode website, yule akaanza
website came later on.
But ile interest ambayo yani
ilikuwa game.
Because uli download ile kulikuwa before Unity.
So ilikuwa
ile nyingine.
Game something ile game engine.
Kulikuwa na tool fulani mkaanza. So basically how it kind of seemed Screeners was becoming a tech company.
Okay.
So
again,
you had
with a bias for gaming, making games, but a tech company.
So those skills ni gani ambayo inahitajika? That's hapo ndo nikaamua kuja, niko like okay, I can't be mostly like a cheerleader. Na pia siwezi kuwa coder because I hated, nilijaribu kucode na mimi nilikuwa na.
So how did you get into graphics?
Tanyi. So Tanyi hiyo ndo akaanza, so as a way to relieve yeye ndo mimi nikaanza kufanya
upskill.
So ndo yeye afocus pia on programming.
Yes.
Coding.
So basically yeye ndo alikuwa anafanya hizo vitu za graphics. So kutransition
ndo anafanya before.
So ndo ile element ya basi kumrelease yeye afocus on coding, mi ndo nikaanza sasa kudevelop interest ya graphics sasa. Hapo ndo sasa nikaingia stories za kutumia Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro. Yes.
So at least that's the value now you are bringing to the
exactly.
company.
Yes.
Yeah, so in fast forward, then there's another guy we brought in tulisoma naye high school. Me personally nilisoma naye primary school, but Robert alisoma naye high school. So his name is Simon Gunjiri. Right now he's doing well for himself. Yani aliventure into mambo ya servers nini yeni kaonyoiki and all that. Honor. So he's doing well for himself. Everybody is the one who ambao tulifanya now. Everybody is doing really well for themselves. So everybody now is believing in this big dream of mine of game dev, where I'm like, we can make something out of this. We can be big. So it's always been about dreaming big.
True.
So I'll mention milestones. I don't want to go into deep into it.
For sure.
Where the nitty-gritty is. But let's say, let's fast forward. Robert is into it. Ngonjiri is into it. Ian Mukira, Tanya is into it. So what are the milestones that we achieved? So we went. We met at that time. One of the ministers wa government,
Waiguru
and Waiguru.
Mkona picha tuweke hapo kwa
ziko literally.
We come with receipts.
There was that lady pia, yule Amos pia alikuwa, remember?
Amos Ngome.
Amos is another guy we went to school with. High school, and then there's a lady wakona soma naye Stratton. So they're also there. So you see the power of dreaming big.
So because of just the game, it managed to put you in those spaces.
Of the dream of, but then we are doing something different. So I think that probably will shape whatever happens in the future, where it doesn't matter where you come from, you just have to dream big. So we met Anwaiguru.
And how many games did you guys make from your
gaming? We published 2.
Yes.
We published 2.
Zinaweza patwa mahali ama
sijui kama size ziko.
Sijalipiwa domain.
Labda yes. Kulikuwa na hiyo Reke Squad na Moshene Rider.
So Reke Squad, by the way.
Moshene Rider.
So
okay, nice. I think after hapo ndo tukianza kuona why it's not a business. Yes.
So for example now,
so you'll speak about why.
So how long did it last? How long did the business? What was the life?
Probably 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years, because tuliachana 2017. Na hapo by there, that's where even our friendship also took a dip. Took a dip, kila mtu.
For a brief moment there.
Yes, ilibidi, because so at that time 2017, I think niko 25, uko 27. But hiyo time wajua life sasa ndo inaanza kukatch up. Nairobi si kwetu mimi. Unaona. Tuanze nafo. So maanisha, if I could not sustain my life here, I have to go back home. Okia nayo pia yuko like the game ambayo tumedevelop haijapeana the results ambayo iko. Na people have worked for 4 years. Ndo maana hatuwezi kudemean what Tanyi did. Because Tanyi ndo alicode hiyo game. Hiyo ndo ukweli.
The game that we published.
Hiyo Reke Squad, yes. Na ukiangalia, but then 4 years unakuja hata 1,000 downloads ni ngumu kupata. And then our monetization strategy was kuwa funded na Liquid Telco. Because your time Liquid investors. Yes.
Yani the product was invested. That is why again you exactly you'll see why when we talk when we through this series where who is your customer will come into focus.
It matters a lot when you're building your product.
Yeah, it kind of made us change over time. Like our focus kujaribu kuangalia, do you want to be investor focused or customer focused? Those are two different companies.
And I can see how this ukumbele
ikaanza kushape, because now with investor focus we were so confident because Ben Roberts alikuwa into that story ya gaming, kulikuwa na hiyo platform ilikuwa run by
at that time I think I don't want to toot our own horn, but we are very, very, very few people, not just Kenya, but Africa-wise, people who could actually develop games to completion.
Andrew Kagia
and wale wa kitambo sana. I think there's just one other guy. There's just one other guy. I don't remember the name, but Andrew Kagia ni the guy
like DNA hata.
But like DNA. I think the musician. So ali develop ile Nairobi X. Na ilikuwa Nairobi X was the one that was
popular. Alafu alikuwa anatengeneza hizo animation sana.
Kulikuwa ile animation ya
our Marvel.
Marvel. The other one, the Transformers. Ile Transformers kitambo kwa Beast Wars. Yes. He actually created an animation about that. So it was really popular, by the way. Yeah. If I show you the animation, you'd know, this animation. So that guy.
think kwanza hiyo story ya kutarget business for investors hapo ndo mi hiyo story ilinitoka completely because I think hata
That we made that mistake again after that.
yes
with
we
stalls.
we made that because lakini wajua haikuwa separate sana because wajua stalls ilikuwa ina work ilikuwa pamoja ina run concurrently
Na screen.
na screen ads ndo maana hatukuweza kujitoa kwa hiyo kitu
Oh yeah, we
bado.
were still in the same mentality.
Oh, I see what
Eh.
you're saying. It was within the
Yeah,
same.
kwa sasa what happened, Screen Ads was the kind of overall company
But
and then sasa
underneath
tukaanza
kulikuwa
ku-create
na
other
different-
so hiyo time since we were trying to
Commerce.
because tulikuwa hatuna timeline ya game ina take two time so tuko like okay there is e-commerce now so we created another Jumia.
Okay. So
wait.
this is during the same period, I'm imagining.
Yeah, the same period.
Okay,
Sasa
yeah.
the same period sasa stalls ilikuwa inaitwa stalls maduka. Yeah, literally yeah. So ikawa a part of a project ya Screen Ads into the e-commerce space sasa.
I see.
Now what we did was just to create hii multi-vendor platform
Yeah.
ambayo tu we can sell na tulikuwa tunaenda isili sana kujaribu kutafuta products kuzipiga picha kuweka na kuuza. Yeah. But I can say your shift ya investor focus but also pia what we were doing wrongly when we were doing the business as Screen Ads na tulikuwa tunakandania nyumba sana. We were building products for ourselves.
The pushing.
Yes. Hatukuwa enda nje. Imagine we are creating products tu tukiwa ndani ya nyumba. Alafu sisi ndo tunaziangalia, hakucommunicate na mtu.
We were the QA, we were the customer, we were the producer, we were the programmer, we were everything. That basically, that's the first lesson about customer centrism, where when you're building a product, who are you building it for? So you don't know that moment in time. So it is again in hindsight when you look at it, you take it out there. So the game actually, as Robert is saying about stalls and the game, actually had one level.
Yes.
So
Ukimaliza ni hivyo.
Ni hivyo.
Sasa ni hivyo. So within the game,
Tukwa tumefanya ukimaliza tunataka pesa kutoka kwa Liquid Telcom. Liquid Telcom
Tuuze ama to invest. Okay, I see.
alafu tumejaza game billboards. Tumejaza ma billboard ati tunasema hii ni space tunauzia.
But the idea was there.
the concept was there.
Concept was
Yes, the
there.
concept was there was that the unfortunate thing was, if we had the same mindset that we have right now, go back to how we were building games, I think it would be successful.
Definitely, yeah.
Because we didn't know any better. Any experience is such a word that is thrown around. 5 years experience, 10 years, but what does it mean? Hindsight tells you that okay, by the way, throw so many things at the wall. What sticks is what works. So we were throwing things at the wall, and eventually we realized this doesn't work. Not just the business, but how actually you built out the business. Because your Screen Ads, stalls. You'll talk about stalls, I'll talk about stalls. The writing, Pickup Mtaani eventually, Oki and Robert, before Pickup Mtaani. All these are lessons where unaona you have to throw so many things at the wall.
See what sticks.
See what sticks. You don't know any better. That is why you see, and again, formal education is important. Then again, even wanasema where formal education fails.
It is not the basis of wisdom.
It's not the basis of wisdom where just because I know how to read and write, just because I know 1 + 1 is 2, doesn't mean I know what 2 means. Doesn't mean I know how to produce 2. So, but then again, how does the formal education prepare you for that? Tuko campus, Robert is in campus, but we don't know.
Hakuna hata hizo communities.
Hata hakuna hizo communities.
Alafu pia hakuna hiyo element ya a mentor. Alafu pia we come from families whereby there were no entrepreneurs.
So people believed in that 844
completely.
100%.
Completely.
No, I see. And so, I mean, Kenya mnasema ni so true now. Essentially, these ventures, at the end of the day, it goes full circle because now it builds up to now you guys now leading to. So how as you had mentioned, so at some point you guys kind of drifted apart.
Yes.
So what happened then now how did you come back to now form what now we call Pickup Mtaani?
So we drifted. I guess your time ni ile tu realization we've become adults. And then hizi vitu hazija work. So ni ile element kila mtu amekimbia in their cocoon kufikiria. I believe it was an element of people thinking about what they want in life.
Reality check.
Ile like watu tu wana
rock bottom. Someone might call it so.
Because wajua sasa imagine you are going through life.
That was not the rock bottom.
The rock bottom again.
Zimekuwa nyingi. Zimekuwa nyingi kama huyu kushikwa hata hao.
Lakini I think
accidents.
But I think hiyo ndio ili change.
All over the place. The same time ama now.
Hiyo ni after, lakini I think by the hiyo story ya screeners ndio ilikuwa rock bottom for me, because I remember after that I went back home.
Already Mombasa.
Kufikiria lakini
na imagine even that feeling of having to leave Nairobi to go back home.
Yes. And nilienda home na I remember because at that time so mimi nilikuwa najua kupiga photos na najua kuendesha
that we've not talked about.
I was kind of a photographer.
That is not
but I have an interest in easy vitu. I've been doing these things. Lakini sasa
alinua kamera
vitu mob.
It's still there. It's still there. Nowadays they import for everybody, but at that time I think wakona import from Canada, USA.
Yes. Nikon D5300 I remember.
Akaiuza kwa mtaita mwenzake.
Nata
uliza taita
wewe. Hiyo niliuzia kina Tanye.
Kamera?
Yes.
Haikuuzwa kwa ile
Tanye, na hapo ndo nilipata capital. So yani hiyo story ikawa hiyo like
the guy from
Star of Hope.
No, the guy from Taita akubai zile lens.
Alinua lenses.
Lenses.
Hiyo so hiyo time nilikuwa na dispose. But hiyo time sasa nilikuwa najua nikaenda home because I remember sasa najaribu kufigure out. And then I was also seeing a single mom. So I remember wajua mother ndo nilimwambia ya kwanza.
Nani? Your
mother. Before niwaambie hata
your mom.
Okay. Nilimwambia by the way nataka kurejea Nairobi lakini nataka kuendesha ndudhi. I think hiyo kitu ilikuwa
something. Sasa after umefikiria hesabu zako zote.
Hesabu zangu zote.
Vitu zimeenda mbaya. Hatujapata sponsorship from any
after all our hard
corporate. We were near to bag yule Kiran. Yule wa yule mihindi wa
I forgot about it. You know I think there's an inside joke where we make about some of our people who forget when they leave Pickup Mtaani. I think Kiran is one of the guys that forgot.
Because alitufanyisha kazi nyingi alafu didn't hakutupea anything.
Alipea character development.
I think to wrap up on that Screen Nuts journey, we've been entrepreneurs for 13 years, right?
2013, yes.
2013 to 2025.
2025, yes. So 12.
12.
Yes.
Let's say 12 years. So we've been entrepreneurs for 12 years. Screen Nuts took up probably 3.5 on. We have a decade to talk about, so wrap it up.
Yeah.
So it's only 3 years of our 10-year journey. So it's significant, but it's not the most important part.